This is question number 15 on the June 2015 non-calculator paper. The first part of the question, part A, says 2 points, A and B, have coordinates -2, 4, and 8, 9. C is the midpoint of the line AB. Find the coordinates of C. So they basically want us to work out the midpoint between two coordinates. This is a technique that you should be familiar with. Basically means we need to add the two coordinates and divide by 2. So add the x coordinates, add the y coordinates. So I have -2, 4, and 8, 9. I need to add the x coordinates, add the y coordinates, and the answers I get, I'm going to divide by 2. So let's go about that. -2 plus 8 is going to give me 6. 4 plus 9 is going to give me 13. And then divide each of these by 2. That's going to give me 3. And 13 divided by 2 is going to be 6.5. So that's my answer, 3, 6.5. Make sure you remember that technique. You add the coordinates together, the x coordinates, the y coordinates, and then divide them by 2. So make sure you do that. We're going to work our way downwards in this way. This is a standard technique, and you basically should know how to do this without a problem. Okay, let's look at part B. Okay, in part B, it starts off by saying D is a coordinate 156. Does the point D lie on the straight line that passes through A and B? You must show all your working, and I also need to point out that there's a star next to part B. So for part B, I need to make sure I write a sentence at the end to get quality of communication marks and to pick up all the marks for this. So I need to try to visualize what this is. It says, does the point D lie in the straight line that passes through A and B? So if I think about A and B, A has coordinates. If I'm looking at part A of this question, -2, 4. B has coordinates 8, 9. And they basically want us to find out whether the point D lies on the line AB. So there's my line AB. If I extend it further out, D is 156, which is going to be way up this end, maybe not as close to B as this, but it's going to be right the way up. So that's 156. Okay. Now, to do that, what am I going to do? I'm going to check to see. I'm going to use gradients to check this out. I'm going to work out the gradient of the line A to B, and then I'm going to work out the gradient of the line B to D. I'm going to check to see if they're the same. Because if they're the same, that means those two lines would be parallel, and D would be along this line. If they're not the same, that means D is not on this line. So let's work this out. So if I first of all remind myself that gradient is worked out by finding the difference in y's over the difference in x's. Okay, so gradient of AB, how do I work out that? The difference in y's, so 9 take away 4. The difference in x's, 8 take away -2. 9 take away 4 is 5. 8 minus -2 is 10. And that's the same as a half. Okay, so the gradient of AB is a half. I now need to work out the gradient of BD. Let's do the same again. The difference in y's, 56 take away 9. 100, the difference in x's, 100 take away 8. what that gives me is 47 over 92. Now 47 over 92, now just thinking about that, if I double 47 I get 94. So this is definitely not the same as a half. And that's enough to tell me that the gradients are not the same, and so D is not on the line AB. And that's what I'm going to put as my answer. Remember, the question is, does the point D lie in a straight line that passes through A and B? So D is not on the line passing through A and B because the gradient of AB is not the same as the gradient of BD. Okay, now this is a pretty straightforward question if you know how to work out the gradient between 2 points, the difference in y's over the difference in x's. Make sure you do understand that, make sure you know it, and make sure you can do this question and get full marks in it.